A lot of our individual decisions are conflicted between two different sides, peace and degeneracy. For the past few years, I've had a small taste of what the degenerate lifestyle is like, partying, drinking, drugs, etc. But there's one big struggle that I'm still facing today that I would like to talk about, and that is lust. I used to be addicted to porn when I was in high school, and it's very tough for me to talk about this on camera, but I decided, I wanted to make this video just to put it out there and be accountable for myself. But yeah, I used to be a huge addict. I used to have multiple tabs open whenever I used to fap one out. But this year, 2024, has been a lot more chill. I haven't been going crazy like I used to when I was a teenager, but now it's just, I'm really trying to kill this habit. Don't get me wrong, like from time to time, I still relapse. I'm not perfect and it sucks when I do. Sometimes I look at myself and I think maybe it's my body, maybe it's just my hormones that I can't control, or maybe it's my spirit that's not in the right place. Maybe I'm not religiously there yet. Maybe my mental health is really shit. Or maybe sometimes it's all of them together. And specifically this year, I've been struggling to quit watching this type of content called ASMR. It's basically just women talking really closely to the microphone and sometimes in a sexual manner. And yeah, I'm kind of hooked onto that. Again, it's really fucking embarrassing for me to say this on camera, but I gotta admit this because it's been sort of a really big insecurity that I've been keeping inside my closet for a long time. So there you go. Yeah, I watch a lot of ASMR content and I waste a lot of time doing that. And that's kind of a replacement with porn. Nowadays, I'm trying to slowly find out the deepest roots for all of my desires, whether it's loneliness, my struggle with victimizing myself, sometimes judging people too much, and a big one is selfishness. I think if I want to dig as deep as I can, it roots back to my spiritual state, which is my relationship with God, self-perception, self-esteem, self-love, etc. And then that connects to my mental health, and mental health connects with physical, and yeah. But every day I try and, convince my spirit to choose peace over hate or love over degeneracy. But I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard because I've developed this kind of habit of looking at myself in the mirror and hating what I see, as well as not letting go of my past mistakes and dwelling around what I've done in the past and calling it trauma, let's say. It takes a lot of discipline. That's what I found out. To get our mind straight, it takes a lot of discipline. Emotional discipline, spiritual discipline. Yeah, it's a challenge. I only say it's hard because if we look at the opposite side, being a degenerate is easy. Following down that route and that path is not hard at all. It's easy to hate. It's easy to talk shit. It's easy to be introverted. It's easy to push people away. It's easy to do drugs, watch porn. And then it gets worse because we are used to these habits. Surprisingly, a lot of it, at least for me, depends on my mental and spiritual state. If it's really shit, if I'm really having a bad state of mind, or my spirit isn't really connected with my heart or my body, or my religion or God, then it's just, I tend to do some stupid decisions. And I think, honestly, these are the roots of good and evil. It's within the individual itself. And now it's kind of obvious as to why it's so difficult to change, because these are our roots. They're already planted and it's our foundation. We are used to hating ourselves. We are used to being negative. We are used to being miserable. But I think the first step to start changing is always awareness and being aware of the truth. For me, I do this by talking to God about it. I talk to God out loud. I have conversations with him. And it really helps me stay accountable because I truly feel like he's listening out there. Whenever I talk, it doesn't feel like I'm alone. As lonely as it might sound for you, it's not lonely for me, because when I talk to him, it's like it's a real conversation, and I appreciate him a lot for that. I love God for that. I say my thanks. I say I'm grateful for this and that, and it just makes me feel a lot better. I can't really describe this feeling into words, but it's just, a simple action. And the only thing that I can suggest is for you to try it out for yourself. Whenever I'm alone, I can easily say anything to him, talk about any struggles. I think the only reason why I was able to open up about my porn addiction and my ASMR addiction, I think, is because I talked about it with God. And I talked to him a lot about it, actually. The surprising thing is I don't really feel the same pressure when I say it to the camera compared to when I say it with God. Because when I talk about it with God, it's like, oh, it's just out there, it's just the truth. Whereas when I said it to the camera, I told you guys that it's hard for me to open up. And I think it's easy for me to discuss it with God because we are both aware of it. He knows what's in my heart. He knows what's in my head. So it's like putting it into words and saying it out loud is not really difficult for me because he already knows what I'm about to say, and it's kind of cool. And I think we all need to realize that he's always been listening to us. It's just we are so arrogant to listen back. Now, being aware of all of your struggles is one thing. Saying it out loud, putting it into real words so that God can hear and that you can hear yourself, your own voice, that's another thing. And it's very different. Other than that, it just takes time to change, you know. Matter of fact, it doesn't take time. It takes a lifetime to change. And I think the more repetitions you do, the more you're going to find out that there's going to be more problems and more temptations that you're going to have to deal with. And eventually you realize, like I have, that you're never going to really figure it out. In your very last moment, you're going to think to yourself that, wow, I'm not all wise. I don't know it all. I'm still a child in some sorts. I still have no clue of how the world works. And that is okay. The more you realize that throughout your life, you're going to be a beginner at 99% of things and better at only 1% of things, then you're going to approach everything with a lot more humility. Then you're going to realize we can't expect too much of ourselves, because putting 100% effort in every day is just, I think that's bullshit, to be honest. I say it's bullshit because putting 100% effort, whatever that means to you, every single day is just not realistic at all. You're going to have days where you burn out, where you're emotionally not connected with yourself, where you're just physically tired. And, you know, I think it's such a facade of, you know, do everything 100%, try your best. Like, no. I believe the right way to approach it is expect disappointment and you won't be disappointed. Therefore, the best thing that we can do is to try, to just do something. Every single day, you make your life meaningful if you try. And I don't mean try your best, I mean just do something, take a baby step, you know. We got to become masters at trying. No matter how small our steps are, we are still moving forward. A step forward is a step forward. And if we don't try, I think you and I both know that we're not living. At the same time, when we take small steps, we don't really see shit. Like, we don't see any improvement. We expect too much, to be honest. But the reality is that we are changing, we are improving. It's just more of a macro thing than a micro thing. It's all in the micro actions that we put in every single day, repetitively. The small decisions that we make, the nice positive gestures, the opinions that we have, and etc. For example, you could be thanking God today for a nice sunshine, or just giving a firm handshake to your friend instead of giving a weak one. So I think nowadays, I think the meaning of life is to try and choose peace over degeneracy, to try and choose love over hate, to try and choose delayed gratification over instant gratification. And it takes discipline. Again, it's hard, you know. That's why I said to try, not to try your best. Trying is growth. It really is growth. And self-improvement is pretty much the art of trying.